It's Saturday at like a little bit before 1, and Paris doesn't really wake up for real until 3 p.m. I found this cool little spot in Champ de Mars to film where there isn't any ugly... Ooh, I hope the tripod doesn't fall with the wind. Oh dear Lord. Okay, yeah, the only problem this morning is that it's very windy, so I hope that this audio comes out okay and that I'll get to sit out here. It's actually sunny, which is surprising. Honestly, I've had a bad week. I could not get out of bed until I came out here now. I'm annoyed because I did end up filming that friendship episode on formative relationships. It was a 2-part episode. I thought it came out really well. And then after thought and paranoia and fear and PTSD, I feel like I can't post it still because I'm scared of things getting worse than they already are. Not necessarily with those friendships specifically, but other events that they're intertwined with. So for now, it's tabled. I have it. Maybe in a few years I can post it. God knows when. But for now, we're gonna do the second best thought I had, and I have a lot of ideas. Like I said in the video that won't get uploaded for now, but one of the videos I'd like to make is talking about how Paris is not ready for the Olympics. Even here in Champ de Mars, I'll put in the clip from the other day right here. So that's the stadium. The summer's gonna suck because it's gonna be for the freaking tourists and the Olympic Games. My park is gonna be closed, so that's, not fun, but voila, that's a stadium. Yeah. Like, they're building a stadium in this park. I live right by this park. I'm foreshadowing that I won't even be able to sit in this park this summer, which is gonna suck because that's my after work nightly thing in the summers. I come out to this park and I just lay down on the lawn for hours and hours because the sun doesn't set till 11 p.m. in Paris in the summer. So that's gonna suck. So I'm kind of trying to enjoy my park and my city as a whole before tourists take over. Anyways, I'm gonna tell a story today that bears little to no emotional weight and will have no effect if the people who this is about will watch it. I'll still use code names, I guess. But it's another story and another topic that I guess we can talk about a little bit. And it's called the lunchbox story. People are coming up here for photo opportunities, as they should. I've known Paris for 7 years and I've never seen this spot over here before. I'm gonna tell you the lunchbox story, which is a story when I was 17, 8 years ago, exactly almost, getting old, about when... I should just tell the story. Okay, so... when I was 17, again, some context. This time in my life, I think I finally felt pretty settled. I didn't want to go to college. I did struggle with because I didn't want to go to college. Was in the DC area. Everyone was going to college. I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to sing. I wanted to songwrite. I wanted to do something creative with my life. I didn't know how I was going to do that if I went to college. And years later, I know, I made a video about this, I think, and I'll link it here, that college indeed did not help me get to where I wanted to go in life. The camera just stopped. I don't know why. It did that when I filmed the other episode too, and I'm not sure why. There's memory on the camera. Anyways, let's hope I can keep going. I finally felt pretty settled in life, as in, after moving around all of my life, I finally had stable friends. I had lost weight and become healthy or, in better shape. I found things that I like to do. I played music. I played piano and guitar. I wrote songs. I baked and cooked in my free time. I felt like I just finally had, I guess, a grounded life in comparison to how most of my life had been. And it was really weird because just as I found that grounded life, was turning 17, everyone was turning 18, going away to college, high school was ending, so that was a very odd time in my life. But anyways, much of senior year, most of my friends were paired off with boyfriends and girlfriends, and I said this in the other video, so I'll go ahead and say it in this video. The wind is freaking me out. I'm so scared it's gonna topple the camera over. Oh, hold on, I want to hold on to the camera while the wind is going because I'm way too freaking paranoid. This is some sturdy wind. This is why nobody's out even though it's sunny, 100%. Oh man. All right, we'll tell the story while I hold the tripod down a little bit. You could see the Eiffel Tower, more interesting than the wind in my face. Talked about this in a little bit in the last video, and I'll touch on it on this video and just future videos to come because I want to do more podcast style videos on YouTube. That's what I feel like I just want to do right now. I've always been on the ACE spectrum, and that's important to understand for this story. But regardless, most of my friends were paired off. Most of my friends had boyfriends, so it made a lot of senior year activities uncomfortable for me. I was no longer in my typical friend group. I was kind of a floater. I just ate lunch with different set of friends every single day, and that was fine. That's how it should have been for me. It was good, like that was fine. But I do remember a time, for instance, senior year, where I was ninth wheeling with friends, and it wasn't jealousy for me, and that's why I'm saying a spectrum, so you can understand that. It was just uncomfortableness. It was sadness that I finally felt security and stability in my life, and then everyone was kind of leaving and everyone was being paired off. It made things like homecoming, prom. I thought about this the other day. I remember in 8th grade when I lived in California and I was really bullied. My mom told me we were going to move, so that gave me a lot of hope to get through that point of my life. They had this 8th grade dance, which I don't know why they did that, but kind of like a prom, but for middle school, senior prom, but for middle school. And here comes the wind again, so here we go. And I didn't go to it. And I remember the teacher I had that organized the speeches for graduation, he told me, I didn't have an 8th grade dance, but I never went to my prom, and I always regretted it. I didn't end up going to the 8th grade dance, and I don't regret it, but I went to my prom because people convinced me that I would regret it, and ultimately I could have ended up not going. It's not because it was couples, but it was more so everyone was in a friend group, and DC is a very affluent area, and everyone was getting in their party buses and their limos and going to DC and going to an expensive dinner. My prom was me getting a ticket 3 weeks before, buying a dress in the clearance rack on Macy's for $88, and then driving to prom in my silver 2009 Honda Fit, singing A Night to Remember from High School Musical 3. That's the best memory from my prom night, and I could have done that without wasting $160 on a prom ticket and a dress. Anyways, that was some context for what my life was like senior year. Okay, so senior year, for Valentine's Day, so basically every single day for senior year, I came home. I didn't have much homework because I got all of my hard classes out of the way. So I had a very frivolous senior year, and I would come home every single day. My routine was I would come home, have my sweet coffee, have my sweet treat. I'd turn on the Food Network, and I'd watch Food Network for like an hour before I did my homework. And so I got really into baking this year, not cooking as much. That came maybe a year after, but baking especially. And I really, after months of coming home, watching the Food Network, I decided that I wanted to host now they'd call it Galentine's, but I'd wanted to do a singles Valentine's dinner. And I know today I would have been accused of being discriminatory if I did this, but I only let my single friends come. In fact, I think one of the girls she conveniently hid to me that she had a boyfriend, and I was kind of annoyed at the dinner because that wasn't the point of it, because I really wanted the point of it to be, I wanted to make a little night for people like me, not exactly like me, but for them to feel like they had something to look forward to also, because things like prom and homecoming and just like all the senior activities felt very coupley or groupy or cliquey, and I wanted to have a night separate of that. So I had this really cute Valentine's dinner where I invited a bunch of girlfriends over, made crepes, I made this sweet potato yogurt, pine nut slivered, almond slivered salad, I made rosemary angel hair, I made these like rosemary butter rolls. It was a big deal. Like I cooked the whole dinner by myself. It was my first time doing anything like that. And I'm also, for more context, if you guys don't know me very well, I'm overtly generous. I talked about, it really sucks because it would have really helped to have the other podcast episode going up before this. It would have been a really good prerequisite to watch. Since I can't upload that, here we go. I'm a very overtly generous person. I love to give... Salut! There's a little toddler in front of me and she's looking at me like I'm an alien. Anyways, I'm a very overtly generous person. I love to host. I'm very hospitable. I'm a caretaker. I just love to take care of people. I love to be the friend that's taking care of someone. I like to cook dinners. I like to invite people over. That's part of my personality. I do also get that a lot from my parents. I've just grown up watching my parents host dinners, and especially in 2024 when people are too lazy to even cook, even if they live alone, that doesn't really happen anymore. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it doesn't happen as much as I think it used to. But I grew up my whole life as a little kid, my parents always hosting these really big, like 25 plus people dinners with my dad's coworkers and family coming over. So I think it's something that I've been very accustomed to, and we just like cooking and we like having people over. We like hosting, entertaining. That's something I've grown up enjoying, and now in my adulthood I also like that. That's one thing I don't like about my small apartment that I hope one day when I have a bigger apartment I can do again. I'd love to do things like another singles Valentine's dinner or Friendsgiving, stuff like that. So anyways, I had this dinner and I cooked so much food. I had a bunch of food left over. So you have the context that I'm a caretaker. I like to take care of my friends. I'm very generous. There's no ulterior motive. It's just who I am. I had so much food left over that two of my best friends, we'll call them, I need code names and it's hard to come up with them on the spot, Max and Lily. Max and Lily were two of my good friends by senior year. Max I met freshman year. Lily I met junior year? I don't think I met her till junior year, but these were two very close friends, even though I wasn't in their groups per se. They were both my really good friends, and they both lived very close to our high school, just like I did. I lived a 10-minute walk away from my high school, but they both never brought lunch. I would see them and they were both eaters, like they could eat, and they would never bring their lunches. I would wonder, like, poor things. In Spanish you say pobrecito. My family's Cuban, something we just say. In French is la pauvre. Random things you did not need to know, nor did you ask for. I would always wonder, why do they not bring lunch? Like, they should bring some lunch. Sometimes, well, not sometimes, pretty much every single day. I actually had fourth period pop culture class with Max before lunch and psychology sixth period after lunch with my friend Max, and pretty much every single day he would eat what was left over in my lunch because I often didn't finish it. My mom would give me too much food, so he'd eat like my granola bar or apples I didn't have or just whatever I didn't eat, he ate it because, 17, 18-year-old boy, you must feed him. Because I had so much leftover food, I just thought I should make Lily and Max some lunches. So I was really cute. I got my mom did the classic American paper bag lunches. So I got a paper bag. I wrote their names on it. I gave them each like a tin of the sweet potato salad. I had baked cookies that week. I gave them each a cookie. I think I even put like a juice box or something because my mom had that kind of stuff in the house, right? I packed them a very cute like American little lunch, right? And I brought each of them the lunches the next day. And I give it to Max during sixth period psychology when he would usually just eat the scraps from my lunch. I give Max the lunch and I'll never forget. It's one of the happiest moments I think of my life, honestly, if I look back. Maybe that's a dramatic overstatement, but it's a really sweet memory. His face lit up and he goes, "Oh, this is the sweetest thing anyone's ever done for me. Like, you're the nicest person ever. This is so sweet." And I still can imagine. So I sat, if we imagine that there's a psychology class, right? I sat on this side of the room. So the board's like here. I sat on this side of the room. Max sat on this side of the room. And I was watching him across, like on the other side, just sitting there like a 5-year-old, so giddy, stuffing his face with my lunch. And he still came up to me afterwards like, "That was so nice." And I'm like, "No, it's fine. Like, I had leftover food. It makes me happy. You never bring lunch anyways. It's going to go to waste anyways. No one in my house is going to eat like a yogurt sweet potato salad. I'm happy to do it." So that happened. Now, for some context, Max had a girlfriend. I need another goddamn code name. Juliet. It's pretty similar, but fine. I can't think of another one. Max had a girlfriend named Juliet who never liked me. I've learned now after many, many years that I don't think it's compulsory to be friends with your friends' significant others. But at the time when I was 17 and I had close friends, but I didn't have a group. And I think, kind of like Taylor Swift, I just saw it as morality. I wanted to be a good person. I wanted to befriend everybody. Not necessarily for everybody to like me, but I felt that it was important for some reason for me to befriend my close friends' significant others. For a long time, I know this is not going to make a lot of sense. Maybe it will make sense. But a lot of my friends and Max's friend group always thought that I had a crush on Max. Now I can sit here 8 years later knowing how I work and the way that I am. I know I did not have those kinds of feelings. I'm just a person who friends are like my family and I care deeply about them. And it's like some people, they have their emotional support from their family or from a partner, whatever. I'm not looking for those things. I don't want those things. I'm not close to most of my family. I have tried. I see friends as the family that you choose, and friends are just the most important relationships to me. I know that's different for everybody, but that's how it is for me. And that's how I view Max. I viewed Max as just a really close, important friend. He was someone I talked to about a lot of things that I didn't talk to girlfriends about. C'est ça in French. Like, it was just, that was that. That's how it was. Still, I had friends that tried to convince me that I liked Max in a way more than a friend. And when you're 17 and you have all of your friends who have more experience than you, and I don't know, they seem superior to you or supercilious in that manner, I just started to convince myself, like, do I? Maybe I do. I don't know. Now I know that I didn't, but I did have times where, like, I actually wrote a few songs about it, pretending. They're not on Spotify. I never released that album that I wrote when I was 17, but I did write some songs about it, like pretending to try and be in that point of view to see if I actually did feel that way. I think we were just very close friends. I did not look at him that way. I was very fond of him. I cared about him, but it was not that. C'est pas ça. Pas du tout. Not at all. I don't know if it's going to make any sense, but I had friends that tried to convince me. So sometimes I let it get into my head. And Max's friend group already thought that I was like the nerdy, even though by senior year I had lost weight, I was wearing contact lenses, I went to school every single day in a very girly outfit, not the way I dress now in Paris because now it's city life, sneakers, but I went to school every single day in like a skirt and high-heeled boots, and I would wear like a little bit of makeup every single day, not a lot. I mean, like putting on lipstick, that's my definition of putting on a lot of makeup. I was like, even though I was very feminine, maybe not stereotypically attractive, they still thought I was this like geeky nerdy girl that had a crush on him, that it wasn't going to go anywhere. And it was actually funny because a couple years after that, Max and I laughed about it. I said, remember when your whole friend group thought I had a crush on you? And he was like, yeah, that was really stupid, right? So it was all good between him and I. It didn't ever affect our friendship. Anyways, so that's the backstory there. I go home that night, and after I brought Lily and Max their lunches, and I realized I still have a shitload of leftover food. Let me do it again. Let me bring them a lunch again. So I do the same thing. I pack them both a lunch. It's fourth period, and I go to Max when he walks in and go like, hey Max, I have another lunch for you. So it's very hard to explain, but luckily he's very similar to a very popular TV show character. You have to think of Chandler Bing from Friends. Max was the real life version of Matthew Perry. Like, he could be Matthew Perry incarnated in some way, I swear to God. His humor, delivery, point on, exactly like Chandler Bing. So he comes up to me, and I'll never forget. He goes, oh, that's really sweet, but Juliet kind of already brought me a lunch in order to assert her dominance over you. And I went, oh, okay. I mean, and I go, oh, okay. He goes, no, but I'm going to take this anyways. You're so sweet. Thank you. So he takes my paper bag, and then he's got this like really girly purple, pink, I don't know what was on it, some sort of girly, little kid girly pattern lunchbox. And he goes to his seat. He sits down. He opens both lunchboxes. He starts with his girlfriend's, and it's like it's such stupid shit. She wrote little sticky notes on all of the things, like a little PB&J for my honey, and Max had his friends behind him that I wasn't friends with but didn't hate. We knew of each other. We weren't friends. There was no beef, but we weren't friendly, if that makes sense. And one of them, the guys, goes by and he goes, ooh, it's a battle of the lunches. And I literally said to him from across the room for everyone to hear, I said, you realize I'm right here, right? Then he shut up because people are very scared of my confrontational demeanor. But he did that. Then I was very upset during lunch, and I talked to all of my friends. Now I see, again, now I'm 25, I see how stupid it was for me to listen to the shit my close friends were telling me because they were also very immature. But I remember talking to some of my friends. One of them was like, yeah, you totally crossed the line. If that was my boyfriend and another girl brought him lunch, I would kill her. And I said, but you know me. You're my close. This was a friend that I had known all throughout high school. I'm like, you know me. You know that I just bring. I would literally bring baked goods and feed them to random strangers in the hallway. I kid you not. Even kids that passed the library where I used to sit outside before class would start, I'd be like, hey, I made these like millionaire shortbreads. You want one? And I just would give them away because I liked to bake, but my family did not want to gain 5 pounds from the things that I baked. So I would bring it to school. Why not? That's just who I am. And I'm saying to my friend, I'm like, you know who I am is just being generous and giving stuff. She goes, yeah, I know you. And if you did it, she had a boyfriend at the time. She goes, yeah, if you did this with so-and-so, I wouldn't mind. But because she doesn't know you, that's different, and I would be uncomfortable. And I remember thinking that was really stupid because he was my friend. He ate my food every single day anyways. I'm not crossing a boundary. This is all in everybody else's head, thinking that I like him this way when I already kind of know deep down that I don't, but people are kind of putting it on me that I feel this way. And I remember talking to another friend, and she was like, ooh, yeah, you crossed a line. So I ended up going to the bathroom during lunch, and I don't remember who I was with, actually. I don't remember which friend I was with. It might have been Lily, who I also gave a lunch. I don't remember, actually. But it was this bathroom that I always went to if I wanted to cry, because not many people knew of this bathroom. So it was a good place for me to go into the stall and cry if I needed to. I went into the bathroom, I cried, and I talked with my friend in the stall that I would go into cry. It was like one of those bigger stalls, so I would just go in there and like cry, or I would take my notebook and cry. My life was a lot of fun. Yeah, ooh, unlocking a suppressed bad memory. But Lily came out. I think it was Lily who was with me, actually, but I can't remember for sure. I come out, and just my luck. So Max's friend group was huge. It was like 10, 12 people, which is pretty big. You know, remember high school, very cliquey, usually only like, 3 to 5 people in a group. He had like 12, 14 even maybe people in his group. And 2 of the girls were there, and they saw me crying, and we just kind of said hi. But I remember thinking, like shit, like they heard me be upset, like they heard me like talk about how I felt bad and blah 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 blah. So then I come into psych 6th period, and I profess to Max profusely, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do anything, like I'm so sorry if it caused any trouble. And he goes to me, no, Stephanie, everyone finds this hilarious. And at the time I didn't understand this. But I said, but not Juliet. And he goes, that's exactly why it's hilarious. Now I get it, and now I see that probably his friends and whatever, they did find it hilarious because it was stupid. It was stupid that I make a lunch and that after they had been dating for 2 years at that point, that after 2 years you feel like you need to, here comes the wind, let's hold on to this again, that you feel like you need to, for lack of a better word, as my Chandler being like friends said it best, assert your dominance over me. It's weird, but I felt really bad. So because I'm a person who doesn't let things go and things eat at me, even if I shouldn't let it, especially because I did not have a friendship with this girl. I had tried numerous times to be friends with this girl, but a mutual friend said to me, and now I see it, she said, you guys are kind of just like oil and water. You don't mix, and that's okay. If I had seen that when I was 17, I wouldn't have tried. But again, you know, I gave you the context. I thought it was important to try and be her friend. But still, because I'm a person who always feels like I'm in the wrong, always feels like I'm the one who did something wrong, she used to walk by every single morning. I don't know why. I don't know who she was. She was friends with this guy who had a creepy crush on me. That's a whole other story. But this guy that would sit outside the library with me and some of my friends every morning, she would walk by every morning at the exact same time. I think it was like 7:45 in the morning, and I like stopped her. Instead of her walking by, I actually stood up. I remember what I was wearing. I was wearing these jeggings with knee-high black hide boots. I had a compass necklace on, a white tank, and a black leather jacket, and I think my hair was straightened. Details that you didn't ask for. That's what happens when you have a disturbingly accurate memory. This is 8 years ago. I actually got up. I was actually, Juliet, can I talk to you for a minute? And she's very nonchalant. She goes, oh yeah, sure. So I go to her and I say, listen, I just wanted to apologize if I overstepped by bringing Max a lunch. I just had a lot of leftover food and he's always eating my lunch anyways. And she interrupts me and she goes, oh, no, I just felt bad that he didn't have any food, so I decided to bring him a lunch. And I'm thinking in my head, okay. So we have a very placid fake hug and she goes about her way, and that's that. Hi, Pigeon. I have food for you actually in my bag, but after I film, okay? I have bread, that's brioche bread that has egg in it that I can't eat, that my mom had, that I'm going to give to you guys if you can wait like 10 more minutes. You guys can't even see the pigeons, so for all you know, I'm talking to ghosts. Just hope one of them doesn't come near the tripod and start picking out the tripod. It's not going to taste good. Why did I manifest that into happening? Because they're kind of making their way this way. No, va-t'en. Where was I? Oh yeah, she goes her way, and I remember just thinking how it was stupid. She did do that because she felt jealous that I brought her boyfriend food. And the reason why I'm telling this story and I want to talk about it a little bit is because I think this was my first experience, because it was not my last. I have had multiple in the past few years, even some that I've avoided to not happen. Like I said this in one of the videos I filmed that I can't upload, but I actually thought of sending one of the ex-friends that I actually talked about in this video like a flower bouquet for her wedding, because all of the information when her wedding was online, and then I decided not to do it because for some reason people seem to take it. It's like that Rihanna song that came out in 2015. Cause all of my kindness is taken for weakness. I think that's how people view me. I think they view anything generous or nice that I do, that there's some sort of ulterior motive behind it. There really is not. I actually get joy and satisfaction from doing it. And I think that's something that's hard for me, is that I don't have opportunities to do it anymore. Because every time I do it, I somehow get in trouble. I mean, I've had people stay in my apartment before. I've invited people over for dinner and they take it for granted. I've just had many experiences in the past 8 years where my generosity is taken as I'm trying to assert dominance, or that I have some sort of goal I'm trying to win in the background, and that's just not the case. And I really wish that we could stop doing that. I don't know why we do that actually precisely. These pigeons are just like trotting by, and it's, you know, I do have bread in my bag to feed them after I'm done with this, you know, Parisian life. I don't know, it's just an interesting concept that something like a mariachi band on the other side that is so not French, but okay. I hope just that you can hear me over the mariachi band music. I think the other thing really important to learn from this story is to not assume things of people. So I realize that I think it's 1% of the US population is ace. I don't even want to know what that is for the world. But for people to automatically presume, this could be a whole other video called like Stop Telling Me to Find a French Boyfriend, which I probably actually won't make. To stop assuming things from people and stop thinking that they want something when you have no idea what they want. You have no idea what their intentions are and what they're getting out of it. For me, it was a pure intention of just sharing food with my friends that I know I was not going to be close with later. The irony of this story, which is so sad, and I always tell people, It's probably now not my top life regret, but for a long time, this was my top life regret. Max didn't really have friends besides me, I think, outside of his friend group. And I remember Max and I were very antithetical types of students. I was always the student that had to work really hard for the grades and study and put in the effort. Max would show up to the AP exam and get a 5 with cramming the macro econ book the day before. Wild stuff. He always had ambitions, and I think he's doing it now. I haven't heard from him in a long time. I wish him well. I do miss him. I do wish we could get back in contact. I think he's at law school in Boston now, so great for him. But he always wanted to be a lawyer. He was very persistent on that, and I'm very happy that he's actually doing that. It's great for him. I'm sure he's busy. Maybe that's why he doesn't answer me. He always talked about schools he wanted to go to, like maybe Oxford and London, and then one of them was in California. He never once talked about Tulane, ever. But Juliet decided to go there. And I remember the day that it was a couple days before we had this stupid day at my school, May 1st, where you wore the shirt of the college you were going to go to. Really stupid DC things, like more just showing off, I'm smarter than you because I'm going to Northwestern or whatever. Ugh, bad memories. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter at all. I remember asking him like where he was going to go, and he goes, oh, I'm probably going to go to Tulane. And I remember looking up from him and I said, because of Juliet? And his face was so desolate, so kind of not defeated, but softly defeated, just accepting that he had to do that. And he went, and I'll never forget his face, and it is a regret of mine not saying something, because I know none of his other friends in his group would have said that, because they all wanted like Juliet and Max to be together forever. And the sad irony of that is that he went to school with her, and then I heard through the grapevine, because I lost touch with him the first year of college, I heard through the grapevine that she cheated on him, and then they broke up, like in a month into being there. Luckily, I think he had another long-term girlfriend, and then he told me he was gonna break up with that girlfriend back when he and I were last in contact 4 years ago. Three years ago. Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to share this story to touch on themes of overgenerosity, how unfortunately it can get you into trouble, and jealous girlfriends. And I don't know, that we need to realize when issues are people reflecting their own traumas and PTSD instead of your own, because I truly had no ulterior motives, intent with that. It was just me wanting to do something nice for my friend that I knew would no longer be a part of my life every day, and he's not. And I look back and I'm so glad that I did that. I'm so glad I have the memory of him sitting in his chair as an 18-year-old boy, eating his cookie, lit up. That's a wonderful memory, and I don't regret that. And I think we need to stop. I don't know. I challenge people to think about the next time you subliminally judge someone for being generous, and here comes the win. Question their intent the next time they're doing it, and don't judge a book by their cover. And I don't mean that in the stereotypical way. I mean, just think about before you project something or presume something about someone. I think, yeah, I don't know. This is a fun story. It's a fun story. I know I'll always be telling like grandchildren or great nephews and nieces or whatever, because it's just a cute story, and it'll be a very cute story if I just have like a niece or a nephew or something that's dealing with a jealous girlfriend or boyfriend or friend that's jealous, because it shows just how trivial that time in your life is, and that hopefully you grow out of it and it becomes nothing but a cute story. Okay, that's pretty much it for today. That was my story and what I wanted to touch on. I'm gonna go back upstairs and eat something and maybe go for a run, and then I think maybe hibernate back, because it was I haven't had the greatest week. Anyways, I hope you guys like this video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.